Good afternoon. My name is Miguel Conde. Jane McCrea was born in 752 in Bedminster, New Jersey to Reverend James McCrea. She was one of the most influential women during the American Revolution. Unlike other influential women like Abigail Adams, Betsy Ross, or Flora MacDonald, it was not her actions in life that provided her influence, but rather her death. For most historic accounts, Jane McCrea led an average life with little excitement. After the death of her mother, she moved to New York, where she met and became engaged to a young Loyalist officer named David Jones. Her engagement to a Loyalist was somewhat out of character for her family, as her two brothers fought against the British in the Revolution. In July 1777, Jane was traveling to Fort Ticonderoga to be with her fiance when she was killed and scalped while in the company of two Huron warriors that were in the employ of British General John Burgoyne. From this point of the story of McCrea's life, her death becomes filled with conjecture and propaganda. One story claims that she was taken captive by the Hurons, their intent to turn her in for a reward to General Burgoyne. While en route, the Hurons fought over the potential bounty, and during the argument, she was killed and scalped. The story held by the Hurons was that they were escorting her to the British forts when colonists attempted to capture them, and McCrea was shot while the colonists were in pursuit. The former story, told by British officers, seems to be the most widely accepted, but the actual truth was of little importance to those who sought to exploit her story. McCrea's death would spark passionate propaganda across the colonies. Regardless of her allegiance, colonists would point out that a white woman died at the hand of quote-unquote savages under the control of the British Army. Not only did the savagery of her death rally support against the British, but also that she was a loyalist who entrusted the British with her protection and was failed. General Burgoyne's relationship with the natives was at best tenuous, so his advisors told him to punish the Huron warriors could lead to a rebellion or violence. Burgoyne therefore did nothing, which stirred revolutionary and racist fervor even further. British taking the side of savages over a white woman was akin to heresy. In the 13 colonies, the name of Jane McCrea would be known as a symbol of Britain's failure as a protector and failure to wage a civilized war. The painting pictured is of the death of Jane McCrea, painted by John Vanderlyn in 1809. It symbolized the importance of her death to the colonies. To hear stories of Jane McCrea is to hear stories of endless beauty, virtue, the epitome of innocence and morality. Though primary sources do not dispute her virtue, they do dispute the level of her beauty. In a time before photographs and mass media, the lack of evidence regarding Jane McCrea was ideal, for it was not the truth that the colonial leaders desired, but something to rally the people behind, and rally they did. Some historians credit the emotions stirred up by McCrea's death to be what enabled the defeat of General Burgoyne at the Battle of Saratoga. Battle of Saratoga, of course, was credited by many historians as being the turning point of the war, as well as being the victory that ensured French aid to the colonies. French aid in material and men was without any doubt the deciding factor that enabled the defeat of Great Britain. Jane McCrea, by no action other than her death, facilitated a movement of support and emotion that would see the colonists' victory in a turning point in the war. Her fabled demise would be immortalized in art and poetry and continues to serve as a reminder of revolutionary sentiment and claims of British brutality. The closing poem by Reverend Wheeler Case was one of the many poems depicting her death. Some British troops combined with Indian bands, with swords, with knives, and tomahawks in their hands. They gave a shout and passed along the road like beasts of prey in quest for human blood. I moved along where I heard the cries, and lo, a bloody scene saluted my eyes. And I advanced along, before me lay a lady richly dressed, her name McCrea. Stretched on the ground, struggling with death, she cannot live, she must resign her breath. Thank you.